You're coming too.
What started as a dream is now our reality. 6 years ago, we poured her ballast, raised every frame, cut every plank, and named her Red Aviva. Ready for life back on the ocean? This year, we're determined to set sail.
Would you look at that? I'd say that's the making of a fine cruising vessel.
We're Salt and Tar, and this is our life. We're happy to share, and thanks for joining us. Welcome back! We're bending the mainsail, and one attachment point we haven't added yet is for the tack, the boom to mast corner of the sail.
There we go.
Ta-da! We've had the sail laced to the mast with a temporary line, so now it's time to get that off so we can get more permanent lines, shackles, and lashings done. Eventually we'll have peril beads like this for the luff of the sail running up the mast, but they're still soaking up linseed oil.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna lash it because.
Do you want to see what the shackle looks like? Go grab it, because that's really quick before you decided.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, why not? Why not, right? It's a quick thing to test.
That's just still tight.
Yeah. Still a little more friction than you were looking for. I don't know, Garrett. It's not that bad.
Maybe you're right.
With the tack situated, we look on to the clue.
Like I could come a little bit further forward.
That's a little better.
Ideally, it'd be nice to have a block back here to tension the foot.
Still really close.
But it's back to the drawing board because we're not about to rebuild the boom too, and there's definitely a solution that's going to work just fine.
So there's not really room to put a block here to control the foot tension, but this eye right here is nice and smooth and pretty fair, so we're thinking that if we just do a tight eye splice around the clue here and then do 2 passes through this eye and through the clue and then back up to the forward end of the boom, then we can just use the purchase on both of these because this grommet and this are really nice and soft, and a little bit more elbow grease. You can just use the 2 passes, this purchase, and be able to cinch this foot right up to this eye, and then you can still control the outhaul tension. So right now I'm just going to do a temporary lashing just to get things going.
And what's the size of the line that we've been using for the permanent stuff?
So far we've been using for the lacing we're using 3/8, and for the bridle I use 5/8. But we'll use 3/8 for all of the lacing, and then we'll have to use thinner stuff for the peril beads because we have to thread the beads through.
So then we can get to the lacing of the foot onto the boom?
Temporary, but I want it to,
Hold,
and maybe I'll get lazy and just leave it like this for a while because I tend to do that sometimes, so I want it to be still fairly strong. Just in case we get a wild hair and decide to go sailing.
Before doing the outhaul line, yeah. Hey, we have this wind tomorrow and we get this all done. Maybe it could be tomorrow.
You never know.
Never know.
The boom is laced, the gaff is laced, tack, clew, peak, and throat are attached. So we decide to semi-permanently lace the luff to get the best assessment of our work, changes, and solutions.
Miles away from the shrouds on this side, and yeah, we're not even close.
No, that looks perfect.
That looks great.
Heck yeah!
Nice.
Stoked?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very glad that work paid off. There's definitely a few times where I'm like, damn, I hope I'm not doing all this extra work and it's still not going to work. I'm going to loosen these lacing up a little bit. Try and get it just kind of even.
Yeah, it's looking comfy now. And the new position of the throat halyard?
Oh, it looks perfect. The angle of the gaff is actually exact for the on the where I cut the angles into the end there. It's just about, I mean, honestly it looks nearly perfect. So
Awesome.
bridle looks good.
The bridle does look
Yeah,
good.
it's sitting like just below those locust stoppers that I made. But the head looks nice and flat. Everything is sitting up beautifully here. Way better than before. Hell yeah.
Feels pretty cool. Just a wall of canvas.
It's nice, we can also see what points that we need to put our baggy wrinkles too.
Yeah. Or you need like at least a dozen. But yeah, we could pretty much go sailing like this. What else before we go sailing? You said topping lift and...
So yeah, the topping lifts, so we're gonna do 2 topping lifts, one on either side. So when you drop the sail, topping lifts will go slack when the sail lifts the boom, so it doesn't cut into the sail or, you know, affect the sail shape or whatever. But when you drop the boom, when you drop the halyards, the boom will come down a little bit, and then the topping lifts will tension up and catch it. And also, if you want to, you know, you can use the topping lifts to top up when you're putting a reef in and stuff when you're out sailing. Also, we need to do a little, I'm just going to go super simple with the jaw side of the boom to keep it up. Most boats, like most traditional boats, will do like a wooden collar with little like knees, but I'm just going to fasten in bronze pad eye that we have, just kind of heavily fasten it into the mast, and then just do a little bridle on the jaws. Yeah, we can get the boom plenty high. Let's see, even sheet it in hard. Even if we vank it down to flatten the sail.
Bye.
That's kind of fun. Where are you going?
It's ready to go. Let's get out of here.
See what happens.
Wind picked up while we were checking everything out, so we gotta douse it pretty quick here. Good night.
gonna get some shorter ones, but then these were randomly sitting in that little tub. They're two little bronze, well not little, but two bronze screws, so weird.
Yeah, they'll go in what, like 3 layers?
Yeah.
Temporary boom bridle secure, Garrett runs the starboard topping lift, which runs through a block on the hounds.
Yeah, power the hips over here. And you're doing what, a double clove hitch?
I'm doing a rolling hitch.
Rolling hitch.
So yeah, it's basically a clove hitch, but you go around twice. On the first time, the direction that you don't want it to slide. So I don't want it to slide that way. So I'm doing 2 passes on that side, and then around again, and then finish it off just like a clove hitch.
And you were talking about doing what will be the permanent thing? This is just for...
Permanently, I'm gonna do an eye splice around it and then just make 2 little locust cheeks. We're gonna leave it like this for now. I wanna make sure that I don't kind of accidentally put one of the topping lifts like in the perfect location for one of the reef blocks. So, you know, these can be adjustable, but we can sail with them like this as long as we want. It'll just be more aesthetically pleasing when I splice them in.
So here at the marina store, this is what we've scrounged up to do the main boom bridle here.
So right now I'm getting the reef points situated. I think I got the first reef kind of figured out and mocked up, which is some scrap old line that I have sitting around. So now I'm gonna do the same with the second reef, get it figured out, figure out where I'm gonna put my block on the boom to lead the reefing line up to the front of the mast. And then once I get that one located and get it kind of mocked up, then I'll break out the spool of fresh stuff. I don't know why I'm squinting so much while I'm wearing a hat, not doing what a hat is supposed to do. So yeah, anyway, I'll get my spool of 1/2-inch line and then lead it, splice it wherever I need to, if I need to, and then I'll have the reefing points set up today. Isn't that a pretty sight? So that's with the first reef tucked in. I got that pretty much figured out, I think. So now I'm gonna figure out the second reef, but I just have to kind of look at it for a little bit because it's so sexy. Okay, back to work.
Garrett's worked tirelessly, not just today, but every day. We don't show every mock-up or failed rendition because it'd be boring, but know we've run through every option and do the best we can.
That should be hopefully enough for me to just get a feel for if that's the right position.
Up, down, up, down. I haven't seen Garrett this excited in some time. There's a million pieces, but with the arrival of the mainsail, something's been ignited, or reignited, actually. We're in love with our boat, each other, this life, and we can't wait to show you what's waiting on the horizon.
Yeah, overall looks pretty good. Sail setting pretty flat and has really good shape. I was in between adding a winch or not. If you had a little mechanical advantage for certain times, it might be nice. I've got a sweet little winch, so I'm gonna throw it on the boom. But at the same time, you don't need it to run it, so it's totally usable as it is. So I'll do that sometime in the future. Yeah, it's serviceable, functional right now, because I'm putting it together with what we have, because we want to get the boat sailing and we don't want to wait to have to find or buy or whatever other things that might be like what, you know, ideally what we'd like, but we can make it run perfectly fine like this. Like, both reefs seem to set the best just going off of the same point. Something like this would be ideal, but I got this modern double cheek block, which I could put right there, but I didn't want to, like, you know, put holes in the boom and do the whole thing if, you know, I don't really want that on there permanently. So I decided, for the time being, while we're looking for something more like this, more traditional double bronze something, I just lashed on a double block, and I used this eye on the boom collar, and then I lashed it with this, you know, the normal kind of serving twine that we've been using. Just lash it on around the boom. The first reef actually worked perfectly with just splicing this little clip right onto this eye. That makes it sets the reef really, really nicely. Like a lot of the things on the boat, I'm leaving certain attachment points kind of like semi-permanently on. I just attached the point for the second reef with a rolling hitch right here, because this one wants to sit a little bit further forward, so it gives enough down, pulled down on the clew as well as aft, so it gives the foot enough tension, but it also gives the leech enough tension. So that wanted to be a little bit further forward, so I put it on with a rolling hitch here, and I'll secure these a little bit more, because, you know, hitches can obviously come loose with, you know, if they're not under tension and if things are rolling around. So I'll secure these a little bit more later, but I'm leaving this just hitched on to make sure that's the, you know, that's the perfect placement for it before I do anything permanent. So yeah, that's what I got going back here. I think I got it. All right, so up forward, after throwing around a lot of different ideas, and just with positioning and ease of use and everything, I decided to actually just bolt a cleat right through the boom jaw. And as far as placement and ease of access, I've been putting the reefs in and out. I've been putting the boom out in all sorts of different places just to kind of like get a feel for what will be the easiest to work with. And ultimately I decided just to throw a cleat right here, because when you're putting a reef in, you can take the line, you can put it around the horn of the cleat, and you can really just kind of sweat it in. Or if you're in bad seas, you can even brace up against the bulwarks and brace up against the mast, and you can, you know, basically just sweat this in on the cleat if you want to muscle it in. But like what I was saying before, I think I am going to put a little winch right here on the flat of the boom, and I think that'll be perfect because it should stand off just enough if you put a couple wraps around it. And then super easy, you put a little canvas pocket for a winch handle right here. So if you want to put a reef in, you basically just a couple of reef wraps around the winch, grab the handle, and then just crank it, pull in, and cleat off right here. Both the reef lines will come here, and they'll probably just kind of both hang out here when when they're not being used. And I'm gonna just splice a bunch of like 3-strand eyes. I think I did have some little fair leads and I could use those, but I think just to keep everything more salty looking, I'm just gonna splice a bunch of 3-strand loops, or not a bunch, maybe 2 or 3, and just put them around the boom just to keep the sagginess of the reef lines under control, so when you're not using them they're not all over the place. So we'll do that. But yeah, all in all, things are looking more done than not. And I'm happy with it because it's setting really flat. The only thing I still need to do on the sail is where the throat of the sail attaches to the gaff. I need to put one more wrap around onto the mast so it pulls that point a little bit forward, because we got that little baggy spot there. But if I just pull that point into the mast, it'll be fine. But other than that, the sail is setting super flat, reefed in. So if you want to shake the reef out, so this is the topping lift. So it's already got tension on it. So you'll just scandalize the main. So drop that down a little bit just to kind of take tensions off things. Drop that down onto its bridle. I need to get a bigger hook for this because the only one I had is too small, so it's kind of annoying to get on and off, but you just pull that off. I'll do something permanent here, but this just kind of goes on and off there, and that's how you hook in the tack.
Same one for both reef 1 and 2?
Yep. We want to raise the rest of the sail. Oh, and then
unclean
derp. Yeah, you got to do that part too. So yeah, uncleat that.
You got one tie still on.
Oh, dumbass. Pretend that didn't happen. Okay. Boom up. Now we can peek here. I feel like I want to do that again because I got excited and I screwed it up really bad.
You coming on to me?
Why is it working?
I just noticed what you're trying to get me to notice. What is that? Power stance. Engage.
Engage.
There's the power of editing, but we do it again if you want. You guys so dang excited.
I know.
Tirelessly. Swab grumbled. Will you guys shut up?